We could be seeing body cameras on some Jacksonville police officers in several months. Originally, the sheriff was hoping to try out the cameras next spring, but today the city council asked if he could do it sooner.
Sheriff Mike Williams will join us live in just a few minutes, but we begin with Channel 4's Jim Piggott and when we might see body cameras on Jacksonville police. Jim?
You know, no date has been set yet, but the sheriff has been talking to city council members. He's also been talking with manufacturers, and they are looking at the possibility of beginning that pilot program of this situation. He wants to learn exactly what the cost is going to be. He was hoping to do that before spring, but now it could happen sooner. It could cost the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office $3 to $5 million to outfit every officer with a camera. And it could cost much more to store that video. To find out exactly what the city will need, the sheriff wants to try cameras from several manufacturers. Today, during a special city council committee meeting, Sheriff Williams answered questions about body cameras and was asked to try and get the test period underway.
Well, we're going to do it as soon as we can. So, I mean, our goal was no later than the spring to get that done. So if we get everything lined up before then, we'll do it before. But we definitely want to be up and running in the pilot by the spring.
During this trial period, they will have to learn the cost and the best way to store the video, which would become public record. They also have to establish rules on the operations of the cameras, such as when they would record. The council was hoping to get this information soon because it will be asked to provide cameras in next year's budget. The sheriff says he's working on a federal grant that could help pay for some of the equipment, but that would not cover the cost of storage. The sheriff was also asked how body cameras change police agencies.
The one constant that you get from around the country is that you do get a reduction in complaints against police officers. Now, and again, there's two sides of that equation. Are policemen acting better because they're on camera? Possibly. Are citizens acting better because they're on camera? I think that's a possibility, too.
So I asked people at the courthouse about that. Would you act any differently, say, during a traffic stop if you knew that it was being recorded?
No. I wouldn't act any different. I would just treat them like they're normal, everyday people.
So again, the council committee is looking into what changes they're going to have to make as a city council, if there is anything, and they're going to be working along with the sheriff's department. So we could be seeing these in the very near future. We're live downtown, Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.
Well, right now, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and police agencies around the country are coming together with communities they serve.
It is all part of the annual National Night Out event, and the goal is to bring and build stronger relationships within the community and build support for crime prevention awareness. Joining us now live from Edward Waters College is Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams. Thank you for being with us this evening. Sheriff, we had an extremely violent July.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We had an extremely violent July, 17 homicides for the month, 73 this year. What is the Sheriff's Office trying to do different this year to curb the violence through National Night Out?
Well, I tell you, that's been a challenge for us for many years, and we've got a lot of things that we're working on, to try to impact that. One of those is the engagement with the community. So we can't be successful in any endeavor that we have unless we've got the support of the community. And nights like tonight help us build that support. So we're traveling around the city. I am hitting many different events. I think there's, for us, there's about 53 events that have been registered around the city. But we've got representation at all of those events. And it's an outreach for us to connect with the community and tell them that, hey, we're here in the neighborhood with you. We care about what happens to your neighborhood, and we want to help you. And we get a great response from the community when we do that.
Well, Sheriff, for citizens, it is great for them to see you actually out there on the street. What about the cops that are out there every day, the street officers, the beat officers? What are they doing to make those connections in the community?
We're trying to create every day time for them, more time for them to do just that, to really reach out and stop and say hello and knock on the door and ask people, hey, how's the neighborhood and how can we help? And we've been doing that. We've done about 125 or so community walks. I do the sheriff's walks. I've done about 8 or 9, I think, since last July. But we've driven that concept down to the zone commanders and to the lieutenants and the sergeants and the officers. So they make time during shifts, throughout their five-day week to go knock on doors in neighborhoods and just take a couple of minutes and introduce themselves to the community and again ask how is the neighborhood and how can we help. So we get a great return on investment for that time. So we feel like there's value in creating time for officers to do that, and there absolutely is. I mean, building that relationship is going to what's going to help us really get ahead of this challenge that we've got in our community.
Sheriff, in today's meeting, you were asked about, a number of questions, a number of things about body cameras, but also about drones and utilizing drones in policing or surveillance. What are your thoughts on using drones at JSO?
Well, drone technology is pretty limited right now in terms of how you use it in law enforcement. I think it was, we've taken a look because I have an opportunity to meet with police chiefs and sheriffs from all around the country, and some are utilizing them in some very limited capacities. So in hearing their conversations, and we've decided to take a look at that and see how we could potentially use them here. And again, there's very limited use for those. I think you talk about, searching wooded areas for missing children and, things like that where they would be a great benefit. But day-to-day operations using drones is something that we're a long way away from. So again, it's worth keeping an eye on the technology, but I don't think today it's really something that we would launch off into to count on as a day-to-day resource.
All right, Sheriff Mike Williams, we thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening.